What's up, finance virtuosos? Today on the channel, we're going to dive into the subtle, behind-the-scenes signs that someone may actually be wealthy. You know how it usually goes. We see someone driving a luxury vehicle or decked out in designer threads and automatically assume, wow, that person must be rich. But as many of us have learned, appearances can be deceiving when it comes to true net worth. This is the Finance Virtuoso channel, where we talk about all things finance. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future money tips and tricks. There's a saying that's really resonated with me lately: everything in life is optics. When you think about it, we live in a world of uncertainty where we rarely have complete information. So we're often forced to judge things, including people's financial standing, based solely on outward perceptions and assumptions. And those assumptions don't always line up with reality. The famous investor Warren Buffett summed it up brilliantly with this quote: "Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked." When times are good economically, it's easy for people to maintain the illusion of wealth through access to easy credit, soaring investments, secure jobs, and so on. But when a downturn hits, that's when the real picture gets exposed for those who were overextended. And this tendency to overlook or ignore financial red flags due to outward appearances happens across all levels of wealth. Even extremely rich business tycoons and celebrities have gone broke due to excessive, unsustainable spending masking their true net worth during prosperous times. Maybe it starts with slightly upgrading their lifestyle: a bigger house, fancier cars, expensive vacations. Before they know it, their spending has spiraled out of control while their actual wealth diminished as opportunities dried up. All because optics obscured an objective look at their finances. This illuminates how insidious the optics over reality trap can be when it comes to wealth, ensnaring not just outside observers but even the wealthy themselves if they lack discipline. Let's look at a common example that brings this idea to life. You're a valet attendant working outside a high-end restaurant. A guest, we'll call him Steve, pulls up in a brand new, bright red Ferrari. What's your initial thought about Steve's financial situation? If you're like most, you'd probably assume Steve is absolutely minted based on that impressive vehicle alone. But here's the truth: all we know about Steve is that he drives an extremely expensive car. That's literally it. We have zero insight into his actual net worth, assets, debt levels, or spending habits. For all we know, Steve could be completely tapped out and living paycheck to paycheck after financing that Ferrari with a loan he can barely afford. The car alone tells us nothing concrete. You see, true wealth isn't about the material goods and indulgences someone can afford to acquire. It's about the financial assets and optionality someone preserves by practicing restraint over long periods. Wealth is the vacation not taken, the home renovations deferred, and the clothing purchases bypassed. Liquid, usable wealth simply measures the money someone hasn't blown on stuff yet. The mega mansion, flashy car, pricey jewelry, those purchases are often signs that someone has a tendency toward spending big rather than accumulating wealth through disciplined saving and investing. Now don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely not saying it's wrong to enjoy your money or spend it on things that legitimately add value to your life. We all have different priorities and reasons for applying our resources in various ways. The key is being mindful and intentional about your spending so it doesn't cross the line into reckless luxury indulgences that put your financial independence at risk. So if outward displays of luxury aren't the real signs of wealth, what are some of the more subtle indications that someone may actually be seriously wealthy under the surface? Here are some potential clues. A general lack of keeping up with societal pressures and consumption trends. Truly wealthy individuals don't feel much need to constantly buy the latest and greatest consumer goods or status symbols to impress others. They're comfortable being a bit countercultural and swimming against those currents of lifestyle inflation. Living in a relatively modest, affordable home for one's income level, and holding on to it for decades. We're talking about a solidly middle class, well-maintained home in a nice neighborhood that wasn't a massive stretch to purchase originally. By avoiding the endless cycle of trading up for bigger, fancier homes, high-net-worth individuals preserve more cash flow to plow into investments year after year. Their wealth grows through prudent household costs rather than inflated housing expenses. Sticking with the same career, business or income source for a very long tenure. When you don't have to constantly chase higher salaries through job hopping, it allows your net worth to steadily compound over many years through consistent saving and investing. Stable, drama-free income is the wealthy person's best friend. Maxing out available retirement accounts like 401(k)s and IRAs annually without fail. Tax-advantaged accounts like these allow wealth compounders to turbocharge their growth in a major way. It's a key pillar of many self-made wealthy individuals' investment strategies. Maintaining an extremely basic, low-cost investment philosophy focused on diversified index funds rather than speculative bets or active trading. The wealthy know that getting rich investing is all about minimizing costs and letting compounding run its course. Driving very used, well-maintained personal vehicles rather than frequent new car upgrades. The wealthy see cars as simple transportation appliances to get from A to B, not status symbols to impress others with. Why constantly burn cash on depreciating assets? A lack of strong consumerist tendencies or frequently shelling out for luxury goods and services. The wealthy are typically quite frugal when it comes to material possessions that don't substantially improve their lives. Minimal frequent leisure travel, especially internationally. While wealthy individuals do engage in travel, it tends to be much more modest and infrequent compared to the travel marathon some free-spending individuals embark on. However, the wealthy do tend to be quite generous in areas that create meaningful life value and deepen key relationships, think funding education, hosting family events, participating in social clubs or groups, and so on. At the end of the day, the biggest behind-the-scenes sign of wealth is simply a strong tendency toward prudent life habits that preserve financial flexibility and options. It's about making your money work for you rather than being a servant to it through excessive consumption. So next time you see someone driving a modest used car or dressed in clothes from a few seasons ago, don't be so quick to judge their financial standing or assume they are lacking in wealth. The person you think is poor could actually be seriously wealthy, they just choose to prioritize the hidden aspects of wealth over the outward optics. True wealth is all about opportunity, optionality, and lack of financial burden. It's the portfolio, the freedom, the peace of mind that comes from diligent savings habits. Not the portfolio of designer goods and inflated living costs. Those are just some of my thoughts, but I want to hear your take. What behind-the-scenes signs of wealth have you noticed in your life? Any other mindset shifts around this topic? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to smash that like button to support the channel. That's a wrap for today's discussion, but I'll be back again next time with another insightful topic. Until then, stay wealthy in what matters most.